Thanks for checking out the Sit.Feel.Heal podcast. Please feel free to share, and if you're inspired and have a moment, please like, subscribe, and review. Stay up, stay true, be you. We made it here today, and all that traffic that is out there, you're here. Yeah. And then you can rest your eyes. Leave your eyes open if you'd like to. Maybe there's something in the room that your eyes were drawn to. Or just gently closing your eyes. The option here is eyes open, eyes closed. Whatever feels supportive right now. And just taking a moment to notice this arrival, this body connected to the chair. Feet on the ground, temperature on the skin. This breath, breathing. These sounds coming and going. We can still notice this busyness of life still happening all around us. As we have this invitation of not having to be busy. And the mind might still be busy. The mind might still be hanging on to wants, needs, or some kind of condition that needs to be present for you to fully arrive. And can we just soften into the breath, soften into connection, soften into arrival, the invitation that nothing needs to be done. To be present with what is. And maybe amongst it all, you can find a refuge, a sanctuary, a place of rest, if only for a moment. This constant coming and going, every distraction and opportunity to begin again, to arrive, to soften. And we'll just transition here with just a few breaths together. Again, an invitation in the spirit of coming together here on a Thursday night and practicing together. Maybe a few breaths to start it off. So on the count of 3, I invite us to gently breathe in through the nose and just let the air fall out the mouth. So on 3, 1, 2, 3, in, and let it go. Again, slowly in and let it go. Let's go a little slower on this one. Really slow, like you're filling up a balloon. Fill up the whole body and just hold it for a moment at the top. And on the out breath, make some noise. And just notice. Notice the breath breathing, body, being, the sounds, the sensations. Hmm. Yeah. I wanted to talk about tonight is wherever we're at on our practice, on this path, to meet ourselves right where we're at. Here we're meeting ourselves right here in this chair, in these conditions, the sound, the heat, but then all the beauty behind it too, that we're here on a Thursday night in a community of people, like-minded folks on a path of self-discovery beyond the self. It's a beautiful thing. We can, whatever we feed kind of thing, we can feed the distraction or we can feed what is bringing us some ease, whatever we came here for. But if nothing more than that, of just being curious of where am I at, not just physically, but on this path, and can that be good enough? Even if, and I find myself in this a lot of times, no matter how far I've gone on the path and how much stuff, like just working on the little, or being clear, having clarity around why do doors jolt my nervous system so much? There's bigger things than that for me that I've been able to be curious about and have some quote unquote healing around, but then find myself later in practice, like 10 years later, dealing with that same thing that is irking me. It's like, whoa, did I fall off the practice? Is my practice gone? Or no, can I just meet myself right there and be curious? What is different about this being here now? Is it getting into those reactive behaviors? So the curiosity, or can I just hold it and be with it? Can I respond? Can I, yeah, have that clear discernment of what is really happening in this moment and not attached in the clouded story, and to make a skillful response or a skillful choice. And sometimes it's just being with the discomfort that is arising. And that's where our practice leads us, right? It's not like, I sit, feel, heal is like a kind of a simple way of talking about the practice for me. And it just kind of became this name thing when I was talking about it. We heal, but there's still scars, right? We tend to those wounds, but there's still maybe even pain. You had a knee surgery or something, there's still maybe some scars and maybe some pain, but it wasn't like it was before. Same with our emotional discomfort and those kind of things. Just kind of speaking to my experience about it, and maybe some of the folks that have had a practice, and for some reason their dharma buck account is empty, fully withdrawn. I've found myself there before, right? So it's how do I meet myself right there, and where is my attention going to be? Where do I shift my awareness? Where do I shift even how I meet myself? The spirit I feel of this sit, feel, heal lens is learning how to meet ourselves right where we are at with just awareness and compassion and some clarity. And even when it's not clear of like what brings us here to this practice, not just here in this hall, this building, but to our practice. When it's not clear, come to what is clear, what is known. What is known is this breath is coming in, going out. The feet are on the ground or the body's in the seat. And that's kind of what I want to inspire tonight is to be curious about what do you really need in this moment right now? What does the mind need? What is the desire? Is the desire to have more clarity of mind, to have more compassion in the mind, to have more balance, calm, whatever it may be? These healthy desires. And even when the conditions are set, when we have this intention of this is what we are practicing here, what are the conditions of the mind? And the mind's still caught in those things that are bringing dis-ease, discomfort, creating more suffering. And as we come back to what is true, what is real in this moment, even if we're not clear of what our desire is to be here, the feet, the seat, the sounds, that's why I say it over and over again. Whether it's clear or not, can we have it be rooted in kindness? Just a kind curiosity of that the mind is busy, the mind is distracted, the mind is restless, the mind is holding on to a past, to a future want and need. Most of the time, I have an idea of what I want to talk about, but I mean, I guess it's like, what's on my heart? I kind of reflect throughout the day or the week. And then as I'm driving down, I live up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, I'm driving down Highway 9, kind of get inspired, redwoods and stuff. And I don't know why. I always kind of think more on that as I'm coming down here. And I've been listening a lot to these sports broadcasters, and it's mostly on American football. Not, and we have watched a little bit of the European football. My kid was really into France, and they lost, so we're not watching anymore. But American football, I'm kind of obsessed in some weird way. I like it, which is super. I don't know. It's weird for me. It's like being a punker. I was like, fuck that. Growing up, I'm like, fucking jobs, and now I'm like, some reason it just has like some reality show kind of zone out. And if anybody tracks football, this is the weirdest thing. This is my point is like, I'm driving down here and I've been listening to these broadcasters talk about American football in July when there is nothing to talk about. These fuckers there's nothing to talk about, but they have a lot to say. And it's like this coach, everybody is winning the Super Bowl this year, every team, because they got the coach, this player they got in the draft, and it's like all these projections. And I was curious about that. What is like, because it does something to my nervous system. Like I'll even be writing and I'll have that on just to listen to. And it kind of normalizes my mind, I think, because that's how my mind works sometimes. It's like, oh, you're going to do that practice. You're going to get hella calm and you're gonna do that thing and that's gonna, and if it works out or not, I don't know, right? So I was like, wow, okay, that's this kind of similarity. I was like, this insight, and it made the the stories in my mind not so like absolute because I come up with absolutes in my mind that I have to be this way or do these things to achieve something, right? Made up stories. And of course, there's a healthy sense of that too, but it's like that attachment to, I'm going to do that and we're going to get that, right? Tenzin Legstock spoke here last week and he did an offering, and I've been really reflecting on his offering, and not just the offering of it's the offerings are, yeah, they're cool and they're very not matter of fact, but like, I don't know, there's a preciseness to it. But a resonating with that, right? Resonating with his teachings. And so I took a course and like taking a course with them, but it was even that, like, I can see myself, okay, I'm inspired by a teacher, so I'm gonna start to that teacher and I'm gonna do that and that teaching, and then it's gonna be on, right? It's like, whoa, man, you know? So this is where I'm at in my practice. So the intention here is for y'all to just be curious tonight of where you're at on your in your practice. And if it's just here on Thursday night and have an intention to be here and without trying to force being calm or trying to force, can that just be the North Star of clarity, of um, calm or ease or whatever brings you here? That's the North Star. And then what are the conditions of the mind? What ways can we steer the mind to ease? And we question it. And that's what I love about this um, mindfulness practice through the Buddhist traditions. There is some structure, but really it, I reflect on the Buddha's words and like this offering, and it's really like, try it on, be curious. It's not about stopping the mind from thinking. Well, this is what I hear. I hear, meet yourself right where you're at. Be curious about experience. Be curious about how you are meeting your experience and what is leading to more of that healthy desire, that want, that need. Because I don't know about you, but I didn't come through those doors all flowery, like wanting my life all is already killer and I just wanted it more killer. I was desperate enough to try this stupid thing called meditation that I had a bunch of opinions about. So the curiosity of the mind and the contemplating the mind, and there's not even a word in the language that is a Pali language. There's not a word for meditation. I heard this from a good friend of mine that's like, yeah, he's like, he studies the Pali Canon, one of the oldest teachings of the Buddha. And it's like there's no word for meditation. And when he would refer to what we're doing, the practice that we offer here is cultivation through contemplation. And so what are we cultivating? I'm cultivating kindness, cultivating compassion, cultivating joy, balance, cultivating what brought you here, what brought you here, but that desire, right? And there's tools, there's the foundations, and that's what we practice here a lot as the foundations of mindfulness, the first foundation of just bringing your awareness back to the breath and body over and over. And when I say body, it's through how we experience life through our body is through the senses. And that's sound. We just mentioned it, how sound, we have an opinion, right? And that can, yeah, bring up a lot of stories. So we notice that. We notice taste, we notice smell, we notice seeing. This is how we experience life. Touch. And the contemplative part, and I believe where the Eightfold Path of mindfulness comes in. This is what we're cultivating. I'll read what these folds are. But in the basics of it, you can cut it down to 3 factors of the Eightfold Path. It's cultivating wisdom, or I don't like using the word wisdom too much, but clear knowing, ethics, and practice. The Eightfold Path is that word wisdom. It's like they use wisdom or right. It's like right view, wise view. I like using skillful, or even better, gentle. Be gentle, right? So in this first fold of the Eightfold Path is this learning to notice what is present clearly. Like clearly what is present right now, not clouded through our our thoughts, the lens of in the stories, the assumptions, uh, but a clear knowing of what is what is being experienced right now in this moment. And that's why I say when it's not clear, just come back to what is clear. The feet are on the ground, the breath is coming in, the breath is going out. And skillful intention, we were just talking about this skillful intention, choosing your direction, orienting the heart and the awareness toward kindness, curiosity, compassion, in a sense of just letting go instead of feeding that fear or reactivity. It's this intention of coming here, right? Of learning to respond rather than reacting. Skillful speech, speaking with care. And this means for ourselves, can we speak with care as that inner dialogue is happening? Using words that are honest, helpful. And this is the through line, I feel like, with our practice as we're coming back to the breath, as we get distracted, as we're not clear. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh shit, we're here Thursday night, we're meditating. Instead of slapping the hand or that walk of shame back to the breath, can it be like, oh, hello, dear one? Of course you're caught up in that story. Can it just be like rooted in kindness, or just a softening, feeling the exhale, and that softening, this liberation, this out breath, this liberation in each moment. And skillful action, living what your values towards your North Star, like what are your values? What are you invested in? Where are you putting your time, your energy, your awareness? Like even when these thoughts are coming up, is this thought leading to anywhere close to what we're here for? Or is it just leading into more delusion? Can we just come back? How we treat ourselves. Again, this I like, you can reflect on these yourself and how do they relate to you. For me right now, it's this inner dialogue. And when I can meet myself with a little bit more kindness, I can be with the world out there with a little bit more kindness. And this doesn't mean niceness. I think there is a difference. You don't need to be polite. Can we be kind? And sometimes kindness is no. Sometimes kindness is I can't, you know? Skillful livelihood, work that supports well being, earning, and living in ways that align with our values and contribute to healing rather than harm. And this is a hard one. The balance of like, we need to pay the effing bills, right? And where we are at in life doesn't mean that we don't have a North Star. Even for me, with this opening up the center and doing more offerings here and outside of this place, is I was really caught up in I needed to take on more because of the scarcity of that. Oh, I better get it while I can because it's going to be gone, right? And then getting caught up in these like this greed. It was a greed, and it was causing more suffering, and it was pulling me away from my practice. The thing that was like should be bringing me closer to it, it was super unbalanced. So again, this reflection for me of like, whoa, bro, are you in line? These are things to reflect on. These are laid out, I believe, as not as like rules or the 10 commandments. These are things to reflect on in our own lives. Can these be kind of a North Star? And again, like your own way with it. What is true for you? And this is a big one. This is where I like to bring the gentle in, is the effort that we put into our practice, the effort that we put in. The word investment has been coming up for a lot for me. I think because I'm doing a lot of business stuff with this place. But really, what I think about investment is invested in ourselves, invested into our well being. And how invested are we in that? If it's just Thursday night, beautiful. But are we more invested of being curious about this experience, about our experience of meeting ourselves with more kindness, and the effort of the practice that the these last two in the Eightfold Path of mindfulness practice and concentration practice? One overall, I think, is just the effort we put into meeting ourselves right where we're at. And I feel like it doesn't have to be time spent on the cushion. I think mindful moments throughout our day are a part of practice. Being aware of like, these are the feet on the ground. This is the way the heart's beating. Woo. This is what's responding in my mind. Can I pause, take a breath, respond? But then when it comes to these two practices of mindfulness meditation, and mindfulness meditation is contemplation. Mindfulness is being aware of what is happening in the present, what is happening right now, moment to moment awareness. Right now, thoughts are happening. Right now, opinions are happening. Also, right now, the breath is breathing. Like just then, I felt a breeze and it felt pleasant. Yeah, you feel that? Right? See the mind attached to that? But that's awareness. That's just like, ooh. And can I appreciate that? Because it'll be gone. And then something else will be uncomfortable. And with this, when we're contemplating in this way, when it's rooted in presence, like in kindness, that we can start seeing clearly how the mind is like so caught up in the story. And we begin in that clarity, we can begin to have choice, to respond, to see our needs in this moment, in each moment clearly. What do we need right now? What does the mind need right now? Right? And there's skillful mindfulness and skillful concentration meditation. And that's where the concentration part is the direct focus, like focusing on the breath, focusing on a sound, focusing on something you see. And for me, that's the anchor. That's the place to come back to. And can I rest there? And sometimes when the mind is really spun out, that's just my practice. It's like, can I just come back to the breath? Can I just rest here over and over? But I love in this practice, it's like mindfulness is mixed with that because we don't stay there. Because I've been trapped there. Anybody else been trapped in samadhi? Trapped in like, oh, that's the practice. I got calm mind. And then when we don't, it's like, fuck, where's calm mind? But from that calm is where we explore what's arising when it's a breeze. Pleasant. Ooh, notice that. When there's an ache in the body, ooh, unpleasant. Can I soften? Same with the thoughts, the emotions. And this is how we learn to have a more skilled relationship with ourselves, with the feelings, the thoughts, with experience itself. A more skillful and compassionate relationship with ourselves that is rooted in kindness so that we can meet the world with more, you know, more compassion. And again, it's not a spiritual doormat, right? Yeah. I like that the Eightfold Path is just there, and these are ways that you can just kind of contemplate the mind and what's going on in life too, and how our practice is relating to life. Not as again commandments or rules or it's called a path, but it's not a linear thing. It's like what is resonating now, and I like that. There's choice in that. There's there's agency. There's I do feel like this practice is very self empowering. That nothing outside of myself or yourself is gonna set you free. Any teacher that's here, I'm hoping, especially on Thursday, there's a through line of try it on. Try it on for yourself. Be curious, right? This is our experience with it. And as there's offerings here, I want to have different, we want offerings that are kind of different lineages and different things, different modalities, but that are rooted in experience, not creating just an experience, but being with our experience. Whether it's a sound bath, a breath work thing, is like, what is the experience with that? Not that I'm getting this experience. What is really happening here? Like I do feel like sound healing stuff has very powerful, the good medicine, if you will, But it could be like, okay, that was great. Now I need another one of those. But how can we integrate that into our nervous system, into who we are, not what we do or something we attend? This practice is in the same way. It's retraining the mind so that you can meet each moment in your life with that wisdom, compassion, kindness. And we can do this together no matter where we're at on the path. So skillful view, skillful intention, skillful speech, skillful action, skillful livelihood, skillful or gentle effort, skillful mindfulness, skillful concentration. These things to reflect on for y'all. And tonight, as I offer the guidance for us, there'll be some soft guidance, but just the curiosity when your mind is trailing, just being curious of one, are you meeting it with kindness? Is the thought or whatever you're experiencing, is it leading to your truest, healthiest desire to be here? Is it leading to ease? Is it leading to compassion or clarity? Maybe a thought is. I don't know. Or is it leading to more delusion? Because if I figure it out, then it's going to be like that. And then when it's not, I'm disappointed, right? Question it. And I'll just send a little reminders to, we're here with your breath. Remember the breath. Remember the feet, the seat, the sounds. I always like to think of it like the concentration meditation is like a helium balloon tied to a kid's wrist. And the mindfulness is the balloon just kind of popping around. So you're kind of grounded, the feet, the seat, the sound, and the mind's kind of bopping around a little bit, but not floating away. Right? Yeah. And you can do whatever the hell you want. You can have a nap if you'd like. That's bringing you comfort. Whatever leads to ease and is, with the whole community in mind, right? We're here practicing together. So be courteous of other practitioners here. If you need to get up at any time or you want to walk, maybe go outside. You don't want to mess up someone's almost levitating meditation practice, right? So just settling into a posture that feels good enough. Ooh. Yeah, this invitation here of shifting awareness, transition as we settle back into a posture that feels supportive, that can support this curiosity with kindness. And eyes open, eyes closed, sitting, standing, laying down. And as we gently shift our awareness inward, the intention of connection to the breath or the body in the seat, sounds, something you see, connect with this moment and your experience to this moment, with this moment. And I want to invite you to just be curious of that desire. What is your desire for this practice? Cultivate. What are you cultivating here? Clarity, calm, ease, or peace? What is your desire for this practice? And can that just be your North Star? And can that be your meter of when your mind is in a thought, plan, memory? Just the questioning, the curiosity is this leading to that place? And whatever it may be, can it be rooted in kindness? Can it be held with compassion? Not fixing or figuring out, but just held in a soft, gentle holding. An emotion, a feeling. It might be attached to some story. You notice tension or tightness, soreness in the body. And you just acknowledge and soften around the edges. And if you're not clear on this desire, what is a need? What does the mind need right now? And if nothing's clear, just come back to what is known. The body is in the seat, feet on the floor. This breath is breathing in and breathing out. The sound is coming, the sound is going. Nothing needs to be forced here. Not stillness, not clarity, not peace, not ease. May every distraction, inward or outward, simply be an opportunity to meet yourself right here. May every return be an investment in your well being, an investment to that desire. How are you meeting experience right now? Noticing without judgment. Are you holding on to something? Pushing away something? Are you gently resting? Invitation here to allow yourself to contemplate or just bring to mind the things that support this desire, this need, this journey, whether it's a group or friendship, practice. Let yourself feel that support right here, right now. And as you reflect in this way, you can send gratitude or appreciation in any way for this support. And can that part of you that continues to show up no matter what be a part of the appreciation and sit at the table of appreciation, sending yourself gratitude and appreciation for continuing to show up, even when it's hard, even when it's difficult, even when it's not clear. You're here. No matter how far you've drifted off a path, the path is always here. In that way, we can see that none of us are broken here. We've just been misguided, and we gently guide ourselves back. And maybe now is the time that you can just let go. Let go of any trying. Let go of this guidance. Let the mind wander if it wants to wander. Or let the mind rest if it wants to rest. Let the body move if it wants to move. Or let it rest if it wants to rest. The need right now might be different than it was a few moments ago. Can this moment be met with curiosity and kindness? And as you hear the sound of the bell in a couple moments here, just taking it as an invitation, transition from one moment to the next, transition from inward awareness to outward awareness. The invitation is to maybe do this slowly, like maybe slowly opening the eyes and closing, slowly moving the body. Notice this cultivation. Thank you all. Thank you for checking out Sit.Feel.Heal. These live recordings are recorded at the Sit.Feel.Heal Meditation Center, 907 River Street, Santa Cruz, California. Please consider being a one-time, monthly, or annual donor by going to our donation page. Donations help support a space for presence, curiosity, and depth, and community connection. The Sit.Feel.Heal Meditation Center is a nonprofit organization. All donations are tax deductible. Pay what you can, when you can, if you can. Thank you.